First, I make my party of 1 warrior and 3 black mages, and we're treated to the game's opening cutscene. For this challenge, encounters will be on the entire time. I can't turn them off for any reason. The XP and Gil modifier will be at a ×1 modifier at all times, cannot be changed. Promotions will be allowed since it's just a natural progression of the class we start with. All gear and items are allowed, and I must open all the chests. First things first, kill off my party, then head to the king for some more plot development. He'll tell us something about whatever he's talking about, then we head back into Cornelia to gear up. I grab the rapier and chainmail and head outside to level up a few times. After that, I grab a few potions and antidotes just in case and head over to the Chaos Shrine. I blitz right into Garland and give him a piece of my mind via the blade, which frees this chick who's like, let's go back to the castle. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool or whatever if you don't mind carrying one of these dead guys. She was cool with it. Back in the king's chambers, we go on about something or other, and then that girl gives me a guitar. The bridge is rebuilt, yada yada, and since I skipped the chests at the Chaos Shrine, I head back, grab those for a sweet leather hat, and make my way to the bridge. This, of course, triggers the game's second opening cutscene, which goes on for far too long, and our adventure truly begins. I head northwest to Matoya's cave, learn she's blind, and then, like a true gentleman, I rob her blind all over again. Heading east, I make my way to Provoca, where I snag the broadsword, leather shield, and some leather gloves. Then I talk to this so-called pirate and fight his 9 goons. I forgot to heal up before this, but luckily they go down smooth and I obtain the ship. On my way to Elfheim, I get stun-locked for the first time by this Big Eyes who gazes at me. At this point, I am about to give up, but I free myself from the stun and manage a victory. From here on, I'm more likely to reload when stun-locked since it saves me some time. In Elfheim, I buy an iron shield and a helm, skipping the iron armor, which in hindsight was a terrible idea, so next time I would buy it. I head on over to the Marsh Cave, go south, and suffer my first wipe. At this point, I'm already getting used to it, so I'm not going to let this get me down. I reach the Pisco Demons, but I can't seem to edge out a victory at level 14, so I adopt a very hardcore JRPG strat. I level up to 15 and manage to take them out in a preemptive strike. Now to escape with the crown. I return to Elfheim to stock up on potions and stuff, then make my way to the Western Keep where I will attempt to fight Astos. He goes down without a hitch. I obtain the Crystal Eye and return it to Matoya. In return, she gives me the Jolt Tonic, which is used to awaken the sleeping elf prince at Elfheim Castle, which we had no idea was asleep. Then I am gifted the Mystic Key, which allows me to unlock the Mystic chests I come across, so I do that real quick. Most importantly would be the Rune Sword in the Chaos Shrine, and the Iron Armor and Nitro Powder in Castle Cornelia. The Rune Sword does 1.5 times damage to magic-type enemies and is very handy for quite some time. Now I head to Mount Dwergar, and here I had stopped recording for some reason, so close your eyes and use your imagination real quick. I went inside, got a great helm, gave a dwarf the Nitro Powder, which he used to blow open a canal, which allows us to access the open seas. West from there lies the town of Melmond. Here I buy some steel gloves, which is a bad idea since I'm literally just about to go get some. Then I make my way back to the Western Keep to grab a few chests. I manage to get 2 of them, but the middle one is guarded by a swarm of wraiths who just can't not stun-lock me perpetually. Note to self, return here later and show them the meaning of pain. Returning to Melmond, I pause for a while to life it up at real life. Back from life. Let me go grab that pizza and the root beer I was chilling in the freezer. Yeah, I'll clean that up later. From Melmond, I head to the Cavern of Earth, and I slay on through without much fanfare, hacking through ogres, minotaurs, Gygus, and trolls like rotten honeydew melons. Just before the vampire fight, I die to some cockatrices since they can afflict stone on hit, and stone is a reset in these solo challenges. Then the vampire gazes intently at me and slaps me down. I try again and manage to not be intently gazed upon, but his physical attacks do hit hard. Nonetheless, I chop him down and obtain the Star Ruby, which we will go use instantly. In the Giant's Cave, we give this golem the Star Ruby, which he eats and moves out of our way. In this cave, you will run into an enemy called Lesser Tiger, and these will drop X potions at an extremely low rate, so about like 1%. So keep that in mind. There's also littered with large clusters of spiders and wolves, so having some AoE helps a lot. I attempt to farm some, but I get bored and move on to the Sage's cave. I talk to the Sage, and for defeating the vampire, he gives me the Earthen Rod, which opens up the deeper levels of the Earth Cave. I return to the Earth Cave, use the rod, and make my way to the Lich. Now, there's a lot of race in here, and they can't stun lock me, so I do keep my guard up and quick save often while making my way through. The Lich fight doesn't go so well the first time. His slow cripples my attacks greatly, he can use hold, and his elemental spells do just about as much damage as a high potion heals. And I only have one X potion, so I fail this one. I felt like I could beat this one, so I equipped my Great Axe. The axe has a higher attack but a lower accuracy stat. I will most likely be slowed, negating the downside of lower accuracy. And this time he doesn't cast as many elemental spells, and I get some good hits in with the axe before I am slowed. Though he takes my HP down pretty low, I still manage a victory. Alright, now I head to Crescent Lake, and I talk to this elder, and he gives me the canoe. And here I head to the Ice Cave, where I can get the Ice Armor, Ice Shield, and the Flame Sword. Now there are a few specters in this dungeon, which stun lock, so I stay aware of those as I make my way to the Levistone room. The chests in here are guarded by Dark Wizards, which can cast Hold and Death, so I make sure to quick save. The left one is the Flame Sword, so most definitely grab that one. I drop through the floor and am faced with a pretty decent fight, a group of 9 undead. The Spectres, Ghasts, and Wraiths can all stun lock, so this fight can be very RNG reliant. Luckily, with enough dodging and targeted attacks, I clear this fight only after a couple tries. Further in, I reach the Death Eye, which goes down with ease, and I obtain the Levistone. Now, the Levistone will allow me to grab the airship right away, so traveling the world map becomes way easier. Now I have to jump down and fight the undead swarm again, but with my new gear, I sponge up all their attacks and win by pure attrition. I head to the southern desert and get the airship, then I make my way to the western keep for some unfinished business. I succeed and win a falchion, which I don't need, but the real reward here is the desperately needed ego boost I gained from taking revenge on a video game. Off to the Citadel of Trials, I get the Ice Brand, the Gauntlets, which cast Thundara on use, and the Rat's Tail key item, which will allow me to promote myself to a Knight. I first encounter some Mind Flayers, which blast my mind and have death on hit, so I reload once again. Then I get gazed upon by some Medusas. I reload again. Other than that, and these My Little Ponies, the Citadel is a breeze. I snag my Rat's Tail, slay the dragon zombies, and make my way to Behemoth to promote to a Knight. Then I prance on over to Mount Gulg. In here I get the Flame Mail and Flame Shield, and pretty much waltz right on through with the occasional Pyrolist Gaze or Ogre Mage that decides to actually use his magic effectively. Equipped with my fire gear, 1 X potion, and 1 elixir, I take on Merilith. I am instantly stunned, caught ablaze, then slashed down mercilessly. I hang my head in shame, but not in doubt, so I try a few more times. Eventually I get a run where I don't get stunned, and I manage to cut her down easily. I head on over to the caravan for the bottled fairy key item and some tonics. I only ever used the protect drinks, but I bought some other ones nonetheless. I head to Gaia, release the fairy, and buy a protect ring which will guard against instant death effects. This is where the run starts getting a little easier. Talk to the fairy to receive the Oxyale, and head to Onrak. And in this last battle, I bust out a stun lock and go full Terminator mode. Pretty awesome. I pit stop at the waterfall where I can pick up a ribbon, which is a headpiece that gives me elemental and status resistances. This is a crucial item in making the run far easier. Also, I get the Sword Defender, which casts Blink on use, which gives you 80 evasion. This can stack up to a maximum of 244 and is very handy. The forced encounter here is 3 Pyrolisk and 3 Cockatrice, which I take down easily, and I talk to this robot for the Warp Cube, which allows us to access the Flying Fortress later. Back in on-rack, I talk to this chick who tells me I need oxyale and promptly moves the F out of the way when she knows I have some. I enter the barrel leading to the sunken shrine to obtain the water crystal. The first split here, I take the right staircase, which leads to a bunch of chests and the Rosetta Stone key item. This allows us to learn the Lufenian language, which allows us to interact with the people in Lufenia. Who would have thought? Also, we pick up the Mage's Staff, which casts Fire on use, and the Diamond Armor, which gives lightning resistance. Taking the left stairs, we snake the Giant's Gloves, which cast Saber on use. This raises the attack and accuracy of the target. We will be using these religiously from here on, so get used to it. At this point, we have Blink, Saber, Protect Drinks, the Ribbon, and the Protect Ring, which give us a whole slew of buffs, making us impervious to most physical attacks and a lot of magic attacks. Eventually, I reach the Kraken, where I equip full defensive gear since he can only use ink and physical attacks. I blink twice, then saber about 20 times or so, and one-shot the Kraken in next week, obtaining the water crystal. In Melman, the NPC named Oon at the graveyard will be like, oh my god, the Rosetta Stone, learn an entire foreign language in about 5 seconds. So I do, and I head to Lufenia. In Lufenia, I talk to this bozo, and he gives me the chime, and I'm out of here. Sayonara, suckers. Next stop, Mirage Tower. In here, I get the Aegis Shield, which guards against stone and poison, the Dragon Mail that guards against fire and ice, and the Sunblade, which does 1.5 times damage to the undead. At the Spire, I reach the portal where I get to use the Warp Cube and enter the Flying Fortress. In here, I can get the Razor, which is a sword that casts Scourge on use. Scourge is an AoE instant death spell, which I will be using to clear out large clusters for fun, as it is closely related to my name. Also, the Adamantite is in here, a key item which allows us to have the dwarves in Mount Duergar craft Excalibur, the most mighty sword in all the land. Technically, I could double back and do that right now, but I opt not to because screw it, let's move on. At this puzzle, I go left twice and down twice and enter this portal, which leads to floor 5. On this floor, the War Mech can be encountered, and I do manage to spawn it, but he fries me like a 2-egg omelet, so I press on to Tiamat. I cast Blink twice and spam Saber a bunch and managed a 2-shot her. All my resistances and sheer beef made this a piece of cake. Beefcake. In Mount Duergar, I have Excalibur crafted, then I attempt to farm some X potions just in case, but that proves fruitless, so I just head on over to the Chaos Shrine. I use a Flex Cottage because I'm like that, and I head inside to shred a 6 solo with this altar thing, which whisks me back in time to the lower levels of the Chaos Shrine some 2,000 years in the past or something. Whew. Here again, we shred the legendary tune, opening up this ladder. And aside here, this is a great spot for farming elixirs. The Death Eye we just fought can drop them at an abysmally low 1% drop rate. So just zone down the ladder, return, and spam the fight until you're tired of getting nothing. Death Eyes also spawn on the same floor as Chaos, though I find this spot far more convenient. Now we have to fight the 4 fiends again. Lich 2.0 goes down with some hefty auto attacks. Marilith and I put up our Dukes hockey style, and I come out the victor. Kraken 2.0 was a little more challenging, but I managed to eke out the victory first try. For Tiamat 2.0, I blink twice, saber 5 times, and take the easy win. And now, without further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for. The creme de la creme, the goat, the one, the only, the big cheese, the head honcho himself, the jefe, El Presidente, judge, jury, and executioner. Chaos. For this fight, I blink twice, I cast Protect 4 times, which I bought earlier, but I forgot to say anything. I then use 16 Protect drinks, I saber 5 times, then I start the cycle of attacking and healing. And just like that, I slay Chaos, sever the time loop, save the universe, and finish my first YouTube video game challenge ever. Overall, I found this challenge to be difficult at first due to the low magic defense, generic gear, and swarms of enemies that can stun lock or death gaze you. But once I started getting the endgame gear, it became pretty effortless with only a few snafus along the way. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment with a suggestion for another challenge you'd like me to attempt. Stay tuned for more videos on how to beat video games so they don't beat you. I'm SoulScourger. Good night.